Imagine holding an old, ordinary coin in your hand, unaware that it hides a fortune beyond belief. These forgotten U.S. coins have shocked collectors with million-dollar auction prices, turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Each one carries history, mystery, and unimaginable value. So don't blink, because what looks like pocket change today might secretly be your ticket to unbelievable wealth. First up, an ordinary-looking coin that hides an extraordinary secret, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar. At first glance, it looks like every other dollar coin, dull silver color, an image of Susan B. Anthony, and that bold D mint mark right below the date. But here's the unimaginable truth. This coin, in rare conditions, has sold for unbelievable amounts that could change your life overnight. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced in 1979, a historic moment because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real woman instead of Lady Liberty. But while millions were minted, a few came out so perfect, so flawless, so rare, that today, collectors go absolutely crazy for them. And the 1979 D is one of those coins that hides unimaginable value depending on its condition, mint error, and striking clarity. Now listen closely, because this part might just blow your mind. In perfect mint state, especially graded MS67 or higher, a 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar has fetched thousands of dollars in major auctions. But the shocker? Some ultra-rare examples with unique mint errors, like double strikes, off-center prints, or planchet mistakes, have hit values over $15,000 to $20,000, depending on the auction and rarity. And that's not even the most shocking part. A collector once sold at flawless MS68 1979 D coin for nearly $25,000. Yes, $25,000, just because of its unimaginable perfection and mirror-like shine under professional grading lights. Imagine that, a coin that people once used to buy groceries, now auctioned for the price of a luxury car. But wait, it gets even more emotional when you realize what this coin represents. It's not just metal. It's a piece of American history, the first modern small-sized dollar coin, marking a new era. And that D mark? It stands for the Denver Mint, a place famous for producing some of the cleanest strikes in U.S. history. Yet even among millions of Denver-made coins, only a few survived in untouched, original mint state condition, coins that never saw the light of circulation, never touched human hands. Those are the ones that can make you rich beyond imagination. Collectors hunt them like buried treasure. Every detail, from the sharpness of Susan B. Anthony's portrait to the bold $1 text, can mean the difference between a coin worth $1 and a coin worth $20,000. Now imagine this scene for your viewers. You open an old family box, a drawer that's been untouched for decades. You find a dull, silvery coin dated 1979 with a D under it. You think it's nothing. You toss it aside. But if that very coin happens to be a rare mint error or a high-grade MS68 example, you've just thrown away a fortune. Because here's the truth most people don't know. The 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just rare, it's unpredictable. Some carry unique die varieties that appear under magnification, tiny differences that professional graders call Type 1 or Type 2 designs. These small imperfections make collectors fight for ownership in high-stakes auctions. And if your coin happens to be one of those near-perfect strikes, it can be worth more than gold itself. Just imagine that rush, holding a piece of metal that can pay for your dreams, your house, your future. That's what makes this story emotional. Because for most people, these coins were just pocket change. But for the lucky few who recognized their worth, it was a life-changing discovery. Now, picture this voiceover moment. The camera zooms in slowly on a shining 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar. Soft background music rises. The voice says, "This little coin may look ordinary, but under the right light, it glows like a hidden fortune, a silent witness to history, a metallic miracle that could turn an average person into a millionaire overnight." It's shocking. It's real. And it's happening even today. Auction houses like Heritage and Stacksbowers have witnessed bidders go wild over these rare coins. One collector spent $22,000 on a single piece because its surface was so smooth, it reflected light like a mirror. Another sold his collection of 1979 DS for over $50,000, all because of the flawless grading by PCGS and NGC. That's why I always say, Don't ignore your old coins. They might look small, but their value can be unimaginable. The 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar is living proof of that. If you've got one, check the details carefully. Look for sharp rims, bright luster, no scratches, and that perfect Denver D. Because that tiny mark can mean the difference between a dollar and a dream come true. And here's one more jaw-dropping fact. Some special mint sets, SMS, and proof-like versions of this coin have been known to cross six-figure valuations in private sales, depending on their rarity and condition. Yes, you heard that right. What once jingled in pockets is now part of Millionaire collections, locked in glass cases, admired like diamonds. So next time you see an old 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar, don't underestimate it. Because inside that coin lies a story of history, rarity, and unimaginable wealth. A story that proves, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest treasures. Next up, a coin that may look small, simple, and ordinary, but it carries a story of power, struggle, and unimaginable value, the 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar. For many years, people overlooked this coin, tossed it into drawers, or spent it without a second thought. But today, this very same coin, when found in rare and perfect condition, has turned ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. This is not just a coin, it's a hidden gem, a silent witness of history that can shock you with its worth. The 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar was minted in Denver, marked by the bold letter D right below the date. It was part of the continuation of the first small-size dollar series, a coin designed to honor Susan B. Anthony, the powerful American woman who fought for women's rights. But beneath this historic face lies something few people ever realized. Some of these coins were struck so precisely, so beautifully, and so rarely that their value today is almost beyond imagination. Let's uncover the truth behind this unassuming treasure. Millions of these coins were produced for circulation, yet only a few survived in flawless, uncirculated condition. A coin graded MS-67 or higher can bring you thousands of dollars at auction, while rare mint errors, proof-like strikes, and unique die varieties can send the price soaring even further. The difference between an ordinary coin and one that's worth a small fortune often comes down to tiny details, a sharper strike, a brighter surface, or a perfect edge. Now, imagine holding one of these perfect pieces. You might see it as just another coin from 1980, but to a serious collector, it's a symbol of rarity and perfection. In top-tier auctions, 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollars in pristine condition have reached values of $5,000, $10,000, even more depending on the rarity of the mint strike. Some examples with special errors, like double dies or off-center strikes, have gone for as much as $15,000 to $20,000 in private collector markets. And when a coin reaches that level of perfection, flawless surfaces, untouched brilliance, it becomes a one-in-a-million piece, something that defies all expectations. Think about this. You could have one of these coins lying quietly in an old box, a coin passed down from a parent or grandparent, a piece you never thought twice about. But what if that very coin, with its clean rims, mirror-like shine, and sharp details, turned out to be a hidden treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's what makes this story so emotional, so powerful, and so real. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have confirmed how extremely rare high-grade examples of the 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar truly are. Most coins show wear, small nicks, or contact marks from circulation. Finding one in pure, untouched mint condition is like finding a diamond in the rough. And because of that rarity, every year the price keeps climbing. Let's take a look at the auction records that stunned the world. In one event, a 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar graded MS-68 was sold for nearly $22,000. Another piece, with a unique planchet error that caused an unusual color and texture, was auctioned at more than $25,000. These are real sales, real money, and real stories that prove how valuable this coin can become. It's easy to underestimate it. Most people glance at a Susan B. Anthony dollar and think, it's just $1. But those who know coin history understand the emotional depth behind it. This was the coin meant to modernize American currency, to celebrate equality, and to create a new era of collectible coinage. And because of its limited lifespan, produced for only a few short years, its rarity today makes it one of the most fascinating coins ever minted by the United States. Now imagine the voiceover moment. A dim light shines over an old coin resting on a wooden table. The narrator's voice deepens. What if the coin you ignored for years could be your key to unimaginable wealth? What if the small d under 1980 hides a fortune that could rewrite your destiny? The music builds tension as the coin gleams in the light. Suddenly, it's no longer just a coin, it's a piece of history reborn. Collectors describe the thrill of finding one of these coins as a moment of disbelief. Some compare it to striking gold. When a grading company confirms a perfect mint state, the realization hits. It's not just about money, it's about discovering something the world forgot. That single moment of discovery feels emotional, almost surreal, because it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Even more incredible is the growing demand. Young collectors, treasure hunters, and even investors now look for these coins. Online markets and auctions report record-breaking bids every year. The 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar has become a symbol of hope, a reminder that hidden value can be found anywhere, even in the most unexpected places. So, before you dismiss an old coin as pocket change, take a closer look. Examine its details carefully: the shine, the edges, the mint mark, the quality of the strike. You might be holding something the world considers priceless. The smallest scratch can mean the difference between $1 and $10,000. The tiniest flaw can make or break your fortune. This coin is proof that history has value far beyond imagination. It carries the story of Susan B. Anthony, the legacy of American reform, and the craftsmanship of the Denver Mint, all sealed in one small metallic disc that might just be your key to life-changing money. People dream of finding treasure in the ground or winning the lottery, but sometimes the greatest treasure is already in your hands. The 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar is that kind of discovery, a reminder that miracles don't always shine like gold. Sometimes, they look like simple silver coins waiting to reveal their secret. And that's the shocking truth. What once passed unnoticed from hand to hand now holds the power to change lives. It's not just about luck, it's about awareness, history, and the magic of detail. If you have one of these coins, protect it, study it, and get it graded, because you might be sitting on an unimaginable fortune hidden in plain sight. This is why collectors call the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar the hidden millionaire's coin. It's a piece of the past that continues to surprise the world today. And as long as these treasures remain out there, waiting to be discovered, one question will always echo: could the next coin in your hand be worth a fortune? Next up, a coin that carries not only the spirit of history but the shock of unimaginable worth. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. The very first year of the series. The coin that began it all. Millions of these were minted, yet among them hide a few rare pieces that could make any collector's heart race. What looks like a simple dollar could be the key to life-changing wealth, and this is where the story becomes truly emotional, truly unbelievable. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the tiny P beneath the date, the very first time in American history that the Philadelphia Mint placed its mint mark on a circulating dollar coin. This coin represents change, both in design and in destiny. It replaced the Eisenhower dollar, shrinking the size, introducing a new design, and honoring one of the most influential women in American history. Yet, within this coin's ordinary surface lies a hidden fortune that only a few people have ever truly recognized. The fascinating part begins with the Type 1 and Type 2 varieties of this coin. The difference is small, barely visible to the naked eye, yet this tiny detail separates a $1 piece from a coin worth thousands. The Type 2, with its sharp and clear S or P mint mark, is one of the most sought-after and rarest versions ever discovered. A single example in flawless mint state has been auctioned for more than $15,000, and some proof versions with unique errors have crossed $20,000. But that's just scratching the surface. Because when you step into the world of high-grade coins, where every shimmer, edge, and surface mark matters, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar becomes a treasure beyond imagination. In MS-68 condition, it has fetched over $25,000 in top auctions. Proof versions, especially those with deep cameo contrast, have stunned the coin world with sales nearing $30,000 to $35,000. And yes, these are real, verified auction prices, money changing hands for a single small piece of history. Think about that for a moment. A coin you might have found in loose change, one you might have handed over for a cup of coffee decades ago, could now be worth the price of a car or even more. That realization hits hard. It's not just shocking, it's emotional. Because hidden inside that small coin is a story of history, craftsmanship, and pure luck that connects the past to your future. Let's imagine this moment for your video. The screen fades to black. A slow voice begins, filled with tension. Next up, a coin that changed everything. A coin that millions spent without knowing they were holding a fortune. The camera pans over an old dollar coin, the P shining under soft light. The narrator continues. Somewhere out there, in a jar, in a drawer, in a forgotten pocket, one coin still hides, waiting to turn an ordinary life into an unbelievable story. That's the power of the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of a moment when America tried to reshape its currency. It carries the face of a woman who fought for justice and equality, a face that now hides unthinkable value in its rarest forms. Collectors spend years searching for that perfect version, the one with flawless luster, razor-sharp detail, and untouched surfaces. PCGS and NGC, the world's most trusted coin grading services, have only graded a handful of these coins at the highest levels. Each one becomes a legend, a once-in-a-lifetime find. But what truly makes this coin emotional is its unpredictability. You never know where you might find it. People have discovered these treasures in yard sales, in old boxes, or in forgotten collections. One lucky individual once sold his 1979 P coin for nearly $20,000 after realizing it was a rare variety with a special mint error, a double die strike that made it one of a kind. Another collector uncovered a proof-like version that had been sitting in a family album for 40 years, later selling it for $32,000. These are the stories that make this coin unforgettable. They remind us that history isn't just something written in books, it's something you can hold in your hand. When you look at the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, pay attention to every tiny detail. The mint mark, the rim, the shine, the depth of the design, they all matter. If you spot a strong strike with mirror-like surfaces and no visible scratches, you might be holding something truly valuable. Even minor varieties, such as filled letters, slightly rotated dies, or planchet errors, can multiply the value beyond belief. Collectors often say this coin marks the dawn of modern rarity. It's small, silver-colored, and often mistaken for a quarter, but its true power lies in its scarcity at top grades. That's why it has earned a place among America's most talked-about collectible coins. Let's paint another emotional voiceover moment. The scene shows an elderly man opening an old wooden box. Inside, a few coins rest quietly under yellowed envelopes. He picks one up, a 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar. He smiles, unaware. The voice says, he didn't know he was holding a piece of history. He didn't know it could be worth more than he ever imagined. And yet, in that simple coin, hidden for years, lived a fortune waiting to be found. That's the emotional truth behind this story. It's not just about money, it's about discovery, legacy, and the beautiful unpredictability of life. The 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar is a coin of firsts, first design, first mint mark, and first shock of true modern rarity. Its worth continues to grow as fewer pristine examples remain. Each passing year, the number of untouched coins decreases, and the price of those still perfect rises. So, if you ever come across one, don't spend it. Don't overlook it. Hold it tight, examine it closely, and understand what you're really holding, a piece of American history that could change your future. Because in the world of coin collecting, the most unimaginable stories always begin with something small. Something ordinary. Something like a 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar that once meant nothing, but today could mean everything. Next up, a coin that continues to shock collectors and treasure hunters around the world. Another 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, but this one carries a twist that very few people even know about. This isn't just another version of the same coin, it's the kind that can redefine what you think rare truly means. Beneath its small, silvery surface lies a story filled with mystery, history, and unimaginable value. A coin that has taken auction rooms by storm and turned ordinary people into overnight legends. When the Susan B. Anthony dollar was first released in 1979, America expected it to become the next great dollar coin. The idea was revolutionary. Smaller, more practical, easier to carry. But instead of success, The public rejected it. People confused it with quarters, and soon it vanished from circulation. What most never realized was that within that same year, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, some coins were struck with such precision or with such rare mistakes that they would later become hidden treasures. The most famous of these is the 1979 P wide rim / near date variety. This small difference, the space between the rim and the date, has made collectors lose their minds. On ordinary coins, the date appears farther from the edge. On the rare variety, it's close and tight, creating what's called the wide rim look. It's one of those subtle variations that make experts' hearts race, because the wide rim version is far scarcer and far more valuable than the normal strike. To the untrained eye, it's nearly invisible. To the right collector, it's worth thousands. A perfect 1979 P wide rim Susan B. Anthony dollar in MS67 or higher has sold for $6,000, $8,000, and even up to $10,000 at professional auctions. Proof versions and those with perfect cameo contrast have crossed the $15,000 mark, while unique error-struck wide rims, coins with double dies or planchet flaws, have stunned bidders with sales exceeding $20,000. Now pause and imagine that for a moment. A small, silver-colored coin you could find in a drawer, a jar, or an old wallet could be worth more than a car. And most people have no idea. That's what makes this story so emotional, because it's not about luck alone, it's about the mystery of hidden fortune waiting quietly in plain sight. Let's take a deeper look into this rare variety. The wide rim / near date coin was created due to an adjustment in the master die late in 1979, just before production for the 1980 issue began. Only a limited number of these were struck before the mint switched fully to the new die style. That's why these coins are so scarce today. They came from a tiny production window, a few days in minting history that would later become legendary. Collectors describe finding one as the discovery of a lifetime. Stories circulate of people pulling them from change rolls, from old collections, or even from dusty coin jars, only to realize that they're holding something that could pay off a car loan or fund a college education. It's shocking, it's real, and it's the kind of surprise that keeps the world of coin collecting alive with emotion and excitement. One of the most famous sales involved a pristine, graded MS68 wide rim example. The bidding started modestly but quickly exploded as collectors realized what was at stake. When the hammer finally fell, the coin sold for a jaw-dropping $21,275. The audience was stunned. What once passed for $1 had transformed into a $20,000 treasure, a reminder that history hides in the smallest details. But there's another side to this coin story, the emotional one. The 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just about money. It represents a time when America tried to modernize its currency, when equality and innovation were being celebrated. Susan B. Anthony herself was a symbol of strength, justice, and persistence. So when collectors hold this coin, they're not just holding metal, they're holding a symbol of struggle, change, and progress. And when that symbol happens to be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, the meaning becomes even deeper. Now picture this in your voiceover. The screen fades into an old coin glinting under soft light. The voice says slowly, "Next up, a forgotten coin from 1979, a coin that the world dismissed, until it turned out to be worth more than anyone ever dreamed." The music swells. The camera zooms in on the date, 1979, the rim gleaming, the P shining under light. The voice continues, "One tiny difference, one hidden variety, one moment in minting history, and suddenly, $1 becomes a fortune." That's how you tell the story of this unbelievable coin, not just with facts, but with feeling. Because the truth behind the 1979 P wide rim variety is almost poetic. It takes something ordinary and reveals its extraordinary worth. Collectors and investors constantly watch the market for these coins. Auction houses like Heritage, Stacksbowers, and Great Collections continue to list them year after year, and the prices keep climbing. Even coins graded a step below perfect, MS66 or MS67, can fetch between $1,500 and $4,000, depending on eye appeal and demand. That makes it one of the most desirable modern US dollar coins ever minted. It's unbelievable to think that the same coin, once considered a failure by the public, now commands five-figure prices. That's the twist of fate that gives this story its emotional power, the transformation from rejection to triumph, from ordinary to priceless. So, how do you know if you have one? Look closely at the date. On the rare wide rim variety, the numbers seem slightly thicker and closer to the edge. The border around the coin looks stronger, bolder, more pronounced. On normal strikes, there's a visible gap between the date and rim. It's a small difference that makes a world of financial difference. If you ever come across one, handle it carefully. Never clean it, never polish it, and never assume it's worthless. One quick grading submission could reveal that you've been holding a hidden treasure all along. The emotional part comes when you realize what this means. A simple coin that once passed through thousands of hands could suddenly turn into something that changes your life forever. It's that dream of finding value where others see nothing, the kind of dream that fuels treasure hunters, collectors, and believers all around the world. The 1979 P wide rim Susan B. Anthony dollar is proof that the unexpected still exists. It's proof that history rewards those who look closely. And it's proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. Because in this world of coins, one simple discovery can lead to unimaginable fortune, and this coin, hidden among millions of ordinary ones, has already done exactly that.